Recently, the SSC Tuatara hit 331 miles per hour. Or was it 316? Or was it all just a giant farce? I honestly don't know. And considering that the company is gonna attempt another top speed run, and the fact that many YouTubers have covered this controversy to no end, including Shmi150, I think he has the best video of it out there. I highly recommend you watch it. I'm just gonna make this an opportunity to explain the concept of automotive top speed. I'm not gonna be going into the physics or the mathematics, it's kind of boring, but if you're interested, there's plenty of videos out there. This video is actually for the uninitiated or maybe even a beginner car enthusiast like a fanboy, because although the concept of top speed seems simple enough, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you realize. My name is Slassica from CeeDrawsCars, and without any further ado, let's go. What exactly is top speed? Well, top speed is in most cases, in very simple terms, the fastest a car can go when driving at the absolute limit. This of course is a loose definition. Of course there is an official definition out there, but for our purposes this should serve nicely. Now, how is top speed measured and recorded? Well, it depends on the category of vehicle, which there are many of. For this video we'll focus on just two: land speed racing vehicles and production cars. The SSC Tuatara, Bugattis and Koenigseggs belong in the production car top speed record. But at the risk of upsetting some fanboys, these poster children of speed cannot hold a candle to some of the big boys in the land speed record leagues, no matter how remarkable they are, and I will explain why in a bit. Now, back to the topic of measuring top speed. In most cases, here's what you're gonna need to measure the top speed of a car and ensure that it makes it into the record books. Number 1. A large open space or a long stretch of road to give the car some room to do its thing, and plenty of runoff just in case something goes wrong so that there's nothing to crash into. Somewhere like the Bonneville Salt Flats, an open stretch of desert road outside Las Vegas, or even a high-speed ring like the Nardo Ring in Italy. If you're not concerned with beating a world record, you can calculate top speed in a computer simulation and just be done with it. Secondly, you're gonna need accurate speed measuring equipment. Traditional speedometers cannot keep up with the sheer speed of many of the fastest cars out there, and many digital speedometers can sometimes lag, or maybe the manufacturer programs a delay. Bladed Angel made a really good video where he mentions delayed speedos, so I'll be sure to link it, so check the description or the info bar. Now, some manufacturers tend to program a delay into the speedometer, so GPS based speedometers are used nowadays because they're the most accurate. Thirdly, you're gonna need a team of experienced drivers, mechanics and engineers to set up and deliver the best top speed run possible. As for the top speed run itself, you could do it flat out, and the absolute world land speed record was achieved in that manner, but it's more of the exception rather than the rule. Speaking of the rules, the FIA, which is the organization that concerns all things four-wheeled and fast and basically governs the rules. The FIA rulebook states that two top speed runs in opposite directions of a fixed distance, say a 5-mile long stretch of road, will be measured, and the two top speed measurements are added together and then divided by 2 for 2 runs to give us an average top speed, which is counted as the world record to be verified before making it official. Which then brings us to the question of how fast is 300 really? Firstly, I want you to name the fastest car in the world. Let me guess, your answer was something like the Bugatti Chiron or the Chiron, or maybe even the SSC Tuatara or whatever the fastest car in the world is at the time you're watching this. While you are right in a sense, the fastest car in the world is actually the Thrust SSC. I know, bear with me for a second. I know it looks more like a jet plane without wings, but it has 4 wheels and 2 massive jet engines, and it can be driven by a qualified someone. It's technically a car. SSC stands for supersonic car. It's no way related to the Tuatara. And the Thrust SSC is a car that reached a blistering 760 miles per hour all the way back in 1997. For reference, that's faster than the speed of sound, and it's the absolute world land speed record I was referring to earlier. And this speed record might even be broken by the Bloodhound SSC in the future when it passes 1000 mile per hour mark. considering the thrust SSC's sonic boom inducing speed, it makes 300 miles per hour seem piddly by comparison. But could you daily drive one? Obviously the answer is not really. It's too big, it's too loud, and it's too difficult to drive. It doesn't have indicators, headlights, and any other stuff that qualifies a car to be road legal. Plus the jet engines don't help its case either. It was a car that had endless amounts of money, time, and resources poured into it, all in the name of trouncing everything that traveled by land. And the same could be said for all land speed record cars. Which is why more car enthusiasts tend to gravitate towards the fastest production cars. It's more of an aspirational thing. You can dream of owning a Bugatti or a Koenigsegg, and if you put in the work and or get lucky and or have rich parents, you might actually be able to own and drive one on public roads, unlike the thrust SSC. 760 miles an hour is fast, but you can't really take a land speed car to the supermarket. I mean, you can't legally take a Koenigsegg or a Bugatti to max speed on public roads either, but you can realistically go cruising around town in one. Now, legal barriers aside, there are a plethora of physical barriers that keep a car from achieving top speed, such as aerodynamics, for instance, which I'm not going to be discussing here, but if you're interested, there is this great article from New Scientist that goes into further detail that I will link below for further reading if you are interested. Please check the description. However, one important barrier to 300 miles per hour is the lifespan of the car's components, and some car manufacturers electronically restrict the top speed to an arbitrary figure like 155 miles per hour to protect their engines and other components from disintegrating over time. You could technically remove the top speed limiter and find out the top speed, but you may hasten the demise of your car. In fact, the Bugatti Chiron is electronically limited to 261 miles per hour simply because the tires can't handle the stresses of its predicted top speed, which is 310 miles per hour. It wasn't until the 305 mile per hour one-off Chiron that Michelin developed stronger tires and Bugatti modified the car to better handle the high speed. And I don't think the production speed car speed record could belong to a car that is significantly different from the cars sold to customers, but that's just my opinion. Another barrier to 300 miles per hour is, oddly enough, the driver, which is another reason why top speed is limited. The average driver does not have the reflexes to control a car driving at 300 miles per hour, let alone one that happens to be spinning out of control at 300 miles per hour. Even an experienced driver testing the top speed of a car might back off the accelerator pedal if they feel that the car is unstable at a certain speed, usually to the point where they're putting their life at risk, even if they're sure that the car is capable of faster speeds. The final barrier to speed is the very ground the car sits and drives on, or more particularly, the terrain. For instance, most Dakar rally raid cars or rally cars in general accelerate very fast, and they have a top speed of about 130 to 150 miles per hour. Granted, they're not as fast as the hypercars we mentioned earlier, but they've been equipped with suspension and chassis that allow them to glide over sand dunes and rocky mountain passes at their top speed. These are places where Bugattis, Koenigsegg's, and both SSCs would quite literally fall to pieces. And that just happens to be one of the pitfalls of the hypercars. So, how fast is 300 really? Well, it depends. 300 miles per hour is ridiculously fast when talking about cars that people can drive on public roads, but it is trivial when compared to land speed record cars like the Thrust and Bloodhound SSC. And it goes even further than that. Who knows, maybe in 5, 10 or 15 years we'll be seeing production cars hit the 400 miles per hour mark, and we might look back and laugh at ourselves for making a big deal about the magic 300. What do you think? Considering everything I said in this video, how fast is 300 really? Comment down below and let's start a discussion. The blog post that inspired this video is down in the description below if you want to check it out, and I highly suggest you do. It's always good to give the original creator some credit. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you liked the video and you want to see more, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future content, or if you feel that something I've said was inaccurate or incorrect, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Cheers, and I hope you have a great week ahead of you.